Thank you.
To Facebook.
Shut down now. Get down like
Sorry, guys, have we started? Okay, we haven't started.
We have 3 minutes.
Everybody is looking fine, no. I'm feeling oppressed, though.
Julie. Don't feel offended. I told you to go and rub powder.
Shay said we should be real today, and I'm not in the mood for makeup. So let me
it's okay. And it's okay. See, there are days when it is just not, you wake up and you're just like, I'm just trying to just encourage myself in the Lord right now because, man. Mama, did they put you on letrozole yet, Mariama? Or you're still on tamoxifen?
No, tamoxifen, yeah.
My spine is hurting.
I'll stick with the devil I know.
It's really, in fact, maybe I should bring Zobo self. Everybody should have a drink. Let's just be sipping.
That's true.
I'm serious. This is like a sip and learn kind of day. Oh God. So this has been live stream. Participants are coming in. We will start at 11. So the way it's gonna go, I guess I'll just give everyone the floor. Introduce yourselves. Like, 3 minutes. Introduce yourself. Tell us about your journey and where you are today. And then I'll begin to kind of ask questions and throw it out to you guys. So if that's okay with you. So let me, Oh my God, my son should not be calling me now. Hello? Hello? We can't talk. What?
Sorry about that.
Mio, for the next 2 hours, mo busy, kí ló fẹ́?
Okay, so and the concept with the facility system for engagement.
Order, Kenny.
The price is this after and customer compare order as price.
So by now, my price there by now, Dari. Dari, deal with it. You and mommy, bye.
You paying him? This one that you are making out for him. I hope you are paying him.
You don't want to know how.
Are you paying him?
I am paying him.
He knows price. You better be paying him.
I'm paying him. Oh Lord. Okay, it's 11 o'clock. Okay, we're just gonna wait for more people. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to our attendees that have just come in. Grateful to have you here. So we're just gonna wait for maybe like, I don't know. Should I 1 more minute or let me just start? I think I'm
start.
Yeah, I'm going to start. People will start coming in. So, hello everyone, and welcome to this, shall I call it Tales by Moonlight, or Tales under the tree, under the Iroko tree, or a fireside chat, like we say here in North America. My name is Oluwatoyin Adewumi, and I am the Executive Director of Tambo Foundation. At Tambo Foundation, our main goal is to continue to lift the veil and raise awareness on the 6 most common cancers that are prevalent in Afro-diasporic communities. We strongly believe, based on data and years of study, that the 6 main cancers, breast, cervical, prostate, lung, ovarian, and I'm forgetting one, but the other 6, they're treatable if caught early. And so our main goal or one of our main goals, is to continue to strip at the ethno-religious biases that prevent our people from getting the right treatment or going for treatment on time before it's too late. Early detection saves lives. Today, in our series of Lifting the Veil, we are going to be exploring life after breast cancer treatment, after active treatment. All our speakers today, including myself, have been diagnosed with one form of breast cancer or the other. And today we are alive, we are thriving, but we're here to educate the public on some of the things that we go through and some of the ways that we cope with life after breast cancer treatment. Today, we are bringing on board Ngozi Ejedimu, who is the Executive Director and founder of Judah Foundation. My sister, my pink sister here in the US, Mariama Tijan Sese. She is a director at one of the foremost hospital systems here in Massachusetts. And another sister of mine, Juliet Adeyemi, who lives northward of North America. So we are stationed across 2 continents, but what binds us together is that we are breast cancer survivors and thrivers. So I am going to open the floor and have them introduce themselves. Grab your Zobo, grab your drink, get some popcorn. We are here to gist. This is not United Nations. We want to keep it real here today. So I'm going to start with Ngozi, followed by Mariama, and then Juliet, to talk about themselves, who they are, when they were diagnosed, and what sort of active treatment they went through, and sort of how they're doing now. We will explore more in details, but I just want them to introduce themselves to you. So Ngozi, go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ngozi. I like to call myself the one book chick. I manage What's Cancer Nigeria on Instagram, which I started a year after my breast cancer diagnosis. I was diagnosed in 2016 with triple negative breast cancer. I went through chemo, no radiotherapy, and I'm currently not on anything right now. My happy place is when I travel. I'm very vain. I like shakara, but I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for makeup today, so that's why I'm looking like this. But it's okay. But when you see me, I glow. I know this is not see me really talking about myself as if.
Hey, gas yourself.
You know, I have to. But I mean, life after breast cancer has been, it's been interesting, and I mean, hopefully as we go on. Okay, so I'm married with 3 kids. I thought I should add that because I think we don't talk a lot about relationships and support during the journey. Because I mean, a lot of women get divorced during the journey. A lot of women get abandoned during the journey. A lot of women go through treatment alone. So I mean, I'm married with children. Did I say I like traveling? I'm just saying this so that, I mean, if you need a travel buddy, I'm here. So that's it for now.
Beautiful. Thank you to those of our attendees that are coming in. There will be room for you to put in your questions, and we'll answer them as time goes on. So I'm not sure who raised their hand, but I'll just ask my moderator to put that hand down, but just get your questions ready. We would definitely be answering them as much as possible. Next, I am going to open the metaverse to Mariama, my pink sister. Let me just say this. When I didn't know that I was going to be diagnosed, she had gone ahead. She was the forerunner. God just used her for me. So Mariama, over to you.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Hi, my name is Mariama, and I live here in the United States. I was diagnosed in 2016, as my sister just said as well. I still remember January 13. But it's so funny how before you get diagnosed, some of the things that happens to you, you cannot ignore. Because for me, I felt the lump like maybe, I'll say 6 months before I was diagnosed, but I was just pushing it, to the side. But, I was looking for a job and, they required a physical. So that forced me to go to the doctors. And so we did the physical and I said, hey, can you check this lump out for me? And he looked at it, he felt it and was like, oh, I didn't feel anything. I said, no, there's something there. So he looked again, he was like, okay, let's just do a mammogram and then, the whole shebang, ultrasound and biopsy. So that's how I was diagnosed. I did chemo. I was actually diagnosed with a stage 2 hormonal receptive breast cancer. So I did the whole 9 yards chemo, radiation. I had double mastectomy and with implants, and I'm on tamoxifen. So for me, family was a big support, and what really, kept me sane was the fact that I had to leave for my daughter because I was a single mother to a child, and I cannot imagine her life without me. So I had to fight with every ounce of myself just to make it through. Also, my faith helped me out a lot. After I surrendered everything to God, I just made up my mind to fight and stay positive because the mindset has a big effect on us. If you feel like, this is the worst thing that has happened to you, you're just going to go down that path. But if you feel like, there's a life after this, I have to fight until I make it over there. So, I went through treatment and I'll say I'm 6 years out and I'm doing fine. And I was also blessed with a child after that. So I had my miracle baby. And thank you.
And that's why I want another baby.
So a lot happened after that. It felt like, okay, God has given me a second chance. Now what? What do I do? I went back to school, got my master's. I thrive at my job, got a promotion, have my baby. And there's so many good things that has happened after breast cancer. And, I'm excited to share it. I'm excited to be here with my Pink Sisters. And can't wait to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, Julie, over to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
So I'm Juliet. I live in Canada. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2019, and it started as a joke because it took me 6 years to have my first child, almost 6 years to have my first child. So I was trying again, like I wanted to be fast, so I was trying again. So I was going to the doctor, and in that process, I don't know, something just felt unusual. So I just checked, and then everything just went haywire. And then I met this lovely lady here, and she calmed me down. Anyways, I was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. I had 8 rounds of chemo. I had a mastectomy and a reduction. I did a reconstruction. I'm still, I think I still have like 4 or 5 surgeries to go. But right now I'm just taking a pause because it's becoming too much. I have a kid, one, my amazing blessing. And I would say that cancer makes you see the world in a different way. My relationships have changed. I now know who to prioritize because that's when you know who really will stand for you. It's something I don't like talking about, but I'm happy to just share.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. I'm very grateful. Also I'd like to talk about myself. So I will never forget Valentine's Day of 2017. That was when my OBGYN called me. and said, Toyin, I'm sorry, you have an aggressive form of breast cancer. Now, here's the funny thing. 6 months prior, I had gone to the same OBGYN for my annual checkup. And she said I was okay. And she did a self-breast, she did the breast exam, she did a quick tap. And she was like, you're fine. She checked my armpits and I'm fine. And then 6 months later, we are talking about a stage 3, triple positive breast cancer that had metastasized to my lymph nodes. I underwent 8 rounds of chemo, so ACT, one they call the Red Devil. I mean, which one is the Red Devil? Yeah. So
is it Cytoxan?
so cyclophosphamide and Taxol. I don't remember. Adriamycin, yes, Adriamycin, cyclophosphamide, Taxol. Hey, ACT, and it was like boom, 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 aggressive. In between that, the Portacat that I was using to receive chemo got infected. 13 million colonies of MRSA bacteremia was discovered. So I ended up using a PICC line to finish. And then when I did surgery, they went and tested the tumor again, only to find out that it was also HER2 unequivocal. So another round of treatment that I should have received that I didn't receive, I had to take it for another year, 17 rounds of Herceptin and Perjeta. So I did that for another, 17 cycles, about a year. So chemo, surgery, immunotherapy, radiation therapy, and now it's 5 years of endocrine therapy that I started with tamoxifen and Lupron. And then now I'm on letrozole and Lupron, and I will most likely, but we're going to talk about that later. So I want us first of all to start with, for those of us who are still in treatment, the side effects. I will start with you, Mariama. How do you deal, and even you too, Ngozi, if you don't mind, 2 minutes. How have you been dealing with the side effects of treatment post? Because I heard some scary things that my doctor told me when I finished, before I concluded, what's it called? My Herceptin of my immunotherapy. Mm-hmm. This lady came in and she was like, well, you're at risk of blood clot, you're at risk of heart attack, you're at risk of this and that. And I'm just looking at her like, nobody said this to me. So, Mariama, how has yours been?
Well, I mean, apart from the side effects with the active treatment, you think you're all done, but then, you have to deal with tamoxifen for some people 5 years, some people 10 years. And, before I start, I talked to some people that have gone through the same thing, and some of them opted out. They're like, I'm not taking that pill because of the side effects. But with me, I'm like, I don't want to turn down or decline anything and then regret later. Mm-hmm. So my doctor laid out all the options. I said the easiest thing will be just take 1 pill a day, which is the tamoxifen. So I went for that. When I did, I also enrolled in a study at Dana-Farber. They were doing studies on people that interrupt their therapy to have babies, and then what are the effects if it's caused you to have reoccurrence and stuff. So I enrolled in that.
Who was your doctor? Ann Partridge?
Yes, Partridge.
Yay!
In her study.
Yeah, she was my survivorship before I moved to Bethesda. Okay.
Yes,
go ahead.
Yes. So I started a tamoxifen. I was doing fine. You have the hot flashes, you have, the mood swings and stuff. But that was okay until the headaches kick in. The headaches were terrible, terrible, terrible headaches. Like, they just don't go away. And that was coming up to the 2 years. And I know I was planning on taking a break. So my doctor wanted me to stop before the 2 years mark. I'm like, no, I like to follow through. I said, I'll hang in there until 2 years. And the day I took the last pill that completed 24 months, I stopped. I tried for the baby and I have my baby and I went back on it. So far that I've been on it, I'll say for the past 6 months, it's been good so far. No headaches yet. I still have the mood swings and hot flashes, but I'll keep my fingers crossed that I'm able to tolerate the next 3 years of it, because I have to complete the 5 years.
Thank you.
Actually, Tony, my oncologist told me I could stop, but Dr. Partridge said you should continue for the 5 years. So She
Yeah,
put me back.
Patrick don't play. I
Yeah,
remember.
no, she doesn't.
I remember when I went to Patrick and I said, Patrick, I want to have a baby. She looked at me and she's like, "Do you have kids?" I said, "Yes, a boy and a girl." So what's this baby urge? Why do we want to
Yeah.
do this baby thing? And so I don't know if she scared me, but it was just like, Toyin, no. Yeah. Count your
I think she's
blessings.
real. You know, she's real. She tells you what it is. Because I was crying when she called me and said you need to continue the 3 years. I just didn't want to do it because I felt
Yeah.
like I did everything, you know. So, but I gotta listen to the specialist and
All
you
right.
know, that's it.
So, Ngozi, you did mention you had triple negative cancer, and I'm not sure that there are any post therapies for them yet. So, I mean, how has it been for you now coming off of that active treatment and then till today? Are there still any side effects that you feel?
Okay, so I had 16 rounds of chemo. First 4 rounds were every 3 weeks. Then the last 12 was weekly. So my chemo was very aggressive. I mean, the weekly ones, it was almost like my body never had time to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And post chemo right now, I don't know how to explain this, but I find out that I don't like being hit with a lot of information at once. I get confused, and I know it's not from old age. I get confused when you throw a lot of information at me, and I am a structured person. I plan my day, I plan everything. So I also don't like it when you just throw, it sets me off. So I think those are I don't know if I would call them side effects, but I know that I'm at a stage now where when you throw me off course, I kind of go into a crazy mood.
Mm.
And I think it's because, so I like, not safe and simple, but I like to let me know if any change is going to happen.
Mm-hmm,
Don't just throw it at me. I know I don't react nicely when people just throw stuff at me. And I know that it's from cancer. But in terms of bodily effects, I don't have lymphedema or anything, but I mean, I'm always careful. I'm always watching my body. Once in a while, there might be a few things I notice and I go into a scared mode for a few minutes. I mean, that will always happen. But I eventually calm down. I pray about it. If I need to go and do blood tests, number of blood tests I do. Once there's something wrong with me, I don't care if anybody tells me, because everybody will be telling you are fine, you are fine. I know I'm fine, but it's irritating when you feel like they say that you are fine with when they brush you off with you are fine.
Like being
so
dismissive,
most times, in fact, that's how I found out I had typhoid. After cancer, 3 months after cancer, I started to have pain in my legs. It got to a stage where I couldn't walk. I was beginning to find it difficult to walk. I told my oncologist in Nigeria, he told me that maybe it was side effects from finishing treatment. I went to do a blood test. When I'm doing my blood test, I do everything. I'm my doctor, so I do everything. They found out that I had a very high grade of typhoid. So imagine if I hadn't done that blood test. So I mean, most times I'm my own doctor. Once I feel funny, I go and check it out. So like I said, I like traveling. I want to be traveling. If I can travel every month, I don't mind. So the checks are important for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. For me, life after breast cancer in terms of treatment, I'm still in active endocrine therapy treatment. And just like Mariama said, the mood swings, oh Lord, the headaches. For a while, it's so funny, I ran away from Dana-Farber because of Lupron. that injection, when I take it, the hot flashes just start. I start getting, I get anxious, I get fidgety. If you throw so much at me, I black out and I'm just like, no. I mean, sometimes I'm to the point of fighting. And so when I spoke to my oncologist then, they were like, oh, take a little break. And so I was feeling good. I went off of Lupron, and then I went off of tamoxifen for a little bit. Then I now had to switch doctors and switch hospitals because of insurance. That's another different beast for another day. And the oncologist that I spoke to looked at me and was like, girl, I'm trying to say it in a nice way. Not only did he double my Lupron, he looked at me and said, if you don't get on letrozole right now, it was almost like a scare. I don't know if it was a realist tactic or a scare tactic, but it was like, we need to be as aggressive as possible because you were very young when you were diagnosed with breast cancer. So I began taking calcium and vitamin D every day with the letrozole and the Lupron. One thing that I've felt is that my bones hurt more. And in winter, it's even worse. So, and it has progressively worsened over the years since I've been on letrozole. So before, it's so funny, before I would never braid my hair because the hot flashes were unbearable. But now I'm actually braiding because the cold gets in, my skull starts to hurt, and my whole it's like I am feeling like, I cannot describe it, but it's this feeling of I'm about to break. And so from progressively taking letrozole this is going to be my 3rd year now, I have developed osteoporosis, and it's worse along my spine. And even now, my neck, I'm feeling pain at the very base of my neck, almost like my neck cannot support my skull. I don't know if that's one of the side effects of the osteoporosis or not, but I have an appointment with an oncologist next month. So I am going to be discussing that. One of the things I would do life after, we always have a diary where we document everything. So any pain, whatever, we put it down, we document. So in terms of hot flashes, yes, the hot flashes happen more when I go for my Lupron injection, which is once every month. And it's now bone pain now. How have I managed it? I walk. I can't sit down for too long. I stiffen up. Like I literally, because when I get up, I'll start walking like an old woman. It's almost like I have to help myself to get my spine up. But after like 2 minutes, all the stiffness, goes away and I'm good to go. So we manage it, we live with it, and we pray about it and keep it moving. Over to you, Julie. How has it been?
Okay, so during the chemo, I had bone pains all through. And I thought, but my oncologist said, when you're done, you won't have it anymore. But I stopped in 2020 and I still have bone pains. It's like my bones just hurts. That's the only thing I feel like. It's so painful. And because she didn't tell me when I started chemo that I could do 16 rounds. She just said, let's do 8. So it was one way halfway through and she was like, this thing is not friendly for you. Can we break you down? And I'm like, no, you can't take me halfway and now I'm seeing the end and you're telling me we're going to break the remaining 4 again. And I'm like, no, I will just manage it. So it was when the nurse told me that it was too much I was taking at that time that I knew that I could have done 16, but she just wanted to treat it as fast as she could. So I still have bone pains. My period now is once every 4 months, sometimes 5 months. So in like a year, maybe I say it once or twice, or I say it repeatedly, like 3 days.
Are you on any active treatments? Are you still on active? No. Oh, wow.
No. Yeah. And sometimes I don't know if it's hot flashes because I only feel it at night. So when I'm sleeping and I move my legs or I wake up, I just feel this rush of heat. And then it just goes away after a while.
It's hot flashes. Welcome to the club.
And it's amazing because I'm just in my 30s and I'm thinking, so I'm going to hit menopause soon. Yeah, that's the only thing that, yeah.
Yeah. For me, like now, I mean, you talked about the bone pain. I can't open cans anymore.
No,
I
I
struggle
can't.
to do it.
Yeah.
I don't even, I mean, at one point I was a bit depressed about it that I couldn't do some little things anymore. But I'm like,
Is that neuropathy or pain itself?
Mariama is a doctor, so I don't know. Is that will
I'm
you
a
consider
nurse.
neuropathy? Well, you're a
No.
doctor, nurse.
Yeah.
You're in the medical. So
Well, I think
is that neuropathy?
no, I think it's bone pain, it's ache because when you do chemo, because I had neuropathy when I was going through treatment, and it's different. It's like numbness, tingling, and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's a different kind of sensation when you have bone pain. And I think that was my other choice or other option to do the Latrozole and the Lupron. But because the doctor stressed on the bone pain, I said no, I'll just take the tamoxifen and deal with the side effects. Yeah. But it's different. The ache and the neuropathy is different.
Thank you, sisters. So now I want us to talk about our relationships after active treatment. And so when I say relationships, your relationships with your family, your relationship with friends, your relationship with colleagues, how has that evolved? So Julie, sorry, I'm coming back at you. What would you say about it?
That's fine. So when everything is good, you think everybody loves you. That's the thing I've come to realize. But when there's cancer, I'm just going to go back to Africa. African Nigerians, especially, some people think it is because somebody actually told me that it was because I have bitterness in my heart. That's why I had breast cancer. So my relationship has changed. My husband is my best friend now, because when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, we got so much information at once, and people kept saying, do this, go to Nigeria, go to church, go pray, don't take chemo. Even my dad, who at a point in time was like, someone told him if I take chemo, I'm going to die. So my husband just said, I brought my wife to Canada to live, and we are in the city of medical attention, and you want me to take her back to Nigeria for what? We'll stay here, we'll pray to God, pray for us over there, we'll pray to God here, we'll do the chemo. If God wants to heal her, he will. If he doesn't want to heal her, he will not, but we'll just stay here. So I've lost friendship because some people run away from me naturally. They just stop calling my husband and me, they stop interacting because they feel like it's something we did that costed. And my sister, my husband, like my circle has become very small. I used to have a big circle, but it's very small. It's limited to just the new people I'm meeting now and the people that stayed with me. The people that really stayed with me, because I was very hurt when some people stopped visiting me and they kept saying, oh, I will come and see you when you're done. Yes, I know I was supposed to be away from people just not to get infection and all that, but still the phone calls, you know what I mean? There was no relationship at a point in time that I felt like my husband, and then I met you and Ngozi, and you were my friends. Can you imagine? I never met you guys, but you were my friends, you and Ngozi. Then the people that were really my friends were never there to even say, how are you doing? How are you? Nobody called to ask my husband, how are you? Even families that are blood related. You know what I mean? So cancer really puts a strain on relationship, and it also builds relationship. My husband is everything to me right now, because at a point in time when I couldn't walk, he will carry me. And I'm not a small lady. I'm not like skinny. I am full. And he will carry me to the washroom, bring me back. He will sit with me. He resigned from his job just to go to every treatment with me. Because the job was 12 hours. So he had to resign from that, get a casual job. And then my treatment was from 8 a.m. to like 2 o'clock, because when I go at 8, I leave at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. He will sit with me from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Wow. big up to spouses and partners that support. That's all I can say. You know, Ngozi mentioned something when we started that a lot of women become divorced
Yeah.
during active cancer treatment. I've heard stories. I've actually of women losing everything, their spouses leaving them. Why? Because they have breast cancer. And so when you are surrounded by people, especially in the nuclear family section, who care and are still with you, it's a big blessing indeed. You know, just like you as well, it's been an eye-opener for me to know who my true friends are. You know who your true friends are. And I'm very grateful that all my true friends are actually in the attendee section. I love you. Olu, Uju, Abina, my lovely husband is also online watching. Thank you, honey. And my wonderful sister-in-law. I'm grateful. So people, like, your circle becomes really small. Those who you think, and it's so funny, it opened my eyes to you, people that you think will be there may not necessarily be the ones that will be there. And so you have to prepare yourself for that shock. It hurts. But one thing that I've come to realize and I have sat with is that when life issues like breast cancer happen, it's an opportunity to just weed out the unnecessary friendships, the unnecessary relationships, and that's what breast cancer did for me. I mean, I'm grateful for all of you. You are my sisters. You are the ones that if I'm feeling any symptoms, I know you will understand because you've been through it, you've walked through it. You know, the other thing that I found out is that, you know, active treatment, everybody's around you. I mean, I remember for me, maybe because I was a pastor's wife, I mean, my women's group, they were there. Hi, they were like with me, came home, organic fruits, cooking. The minute treatment finished,
Hey,
it was an emptiness.
everybody disappears. I don't know why that always happens.
But you know,
everybody thinks
Tony,
you're okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they just keep it moving. And I was actually depressed. I dealt with because I felt lonely. I felt alone. You know, suddenly you're no longer, I don't know if I should say the center of attention, but it hurts to just have that structure and support system just leave you just like that. So, but then the nuclear one, the smaller ones, you know, you begin to develop and nurture that and work towards that and just keep it moving. Ngozi, what would you like to say about your relationships? I mean, now.
There are times I feel lonely, to be honest with you. You know, like I was telling my son today, I was complaining about something and he goes, oh, that there's a research that says mothers are more attentive, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, we're 5 in the family. So I know what all of you want at every point in time, but does anyone know what I want? And he actually, I mean, my son is 22. He actually went quiet. I noticed he was, so it had never occurred to him because I was like, I'm always checking up. I know what you guys want. I know when somebody needs this. And so who does that for me? So, I mean, there are times when it feels you're surrounded by people, but you are lonely. There's no other way to say it, you know, and I don't know, at times I brush it off, at times I'm sad about it, but I mean, I like to talk. So when there's something on my mind, I say it. Me, I don't know how to internalize. So at times with my husband, worst case, we will fight, we will quarrel. Not physical fight, or we will quarrel, but at the end of the day, I feel like I need to let out, it's a big deal to have had breast cancer. People see you up and about and everybody, yes, I used to resent that word strong woman. But you know, 3 weeks ago, I told myself that I'm going to embrace it. I'm actually strong. I mean, I went through chemo, I lost my hair, I've gone through so much and I'm still standing. So I'm not going to look at that strong woman. You know, people just say that strong woman from the angle of, I cannot do what you have done. But I'm going to embrace that strong woman from the angle that it is God that has given me the strength to go through everything I have gone through, and he will continue to strengthen me. So I will walk in the knowledge that I am a strong woman. I'm not going to see it as a badge that I should be ashamed of. And that's the honest truth. But I mean, it's not easy. And then at times you meet breasties that you think would bond with you because they've gone through the same thing, and they turn out to be witches. I'm sorry, there's no nice way to say it. You know, at times you think breast cancer changes everybody. It's not true. If you are bad before you had the cancer, you will still be bad after the cancer. So even among breast cancer survivors, you start to weed the nice ones. To be honest, I mean, right from day one, I think, Toyin, you are one of the few people that are not falling by the wayside. Although I was vexing with you one time when it looked like I was the one always looking for you. But to be honest, you are one of the few. They end up falling by the wayside. It's almost like when they've used you, they dump you. So yes, my circle is smaller now, to be honest. But see, times and seasons. At times, some people enter, when their job is over with you, they disappear. I'm beginning to learn that. Some people just come for that moment. God has sent them at that exact moment to do what they need to do in your life. So when they leave after that, don't vex for them. Just take it that they came to play their role and they have gone. That's how I look at it. And then in between too, I always inform people. So when you hear people making nonsense comments, don't let it slide. I never let it slide. So everybody, and another thing, everybody knows that I had breast cancer. If in church you don't know I had breast cancer, you're probably a new member. So I use that as a way to educate people and stop the foolish statements that come out of some people's mouths. In my gangster mood now. It can be so annoying. But then,
God is back.
but you know, let's thank God for everything. That we're still, that we're alive, we're thriving, and we're making the most of everything. I mean, live in the moment. That's what matters. Good, bad, ugly. Live in the moment, enjoy the good memories, and just try to make yourself happy all the time.
Beautiful. Thank you. Mariama, how about you? How's your relationships been?
Well,
since,
to go back to what you were saying, Tony, you know, after you finished treatment and you said you felt like everybody left. Actually, there's a studies that shows that after women finish breast cancer treatment, they get depressed because with the treatment, you have structure, you have things you're looking up to, like, okay, I'm on number 4 of my chemo, then number 5, number 6. You have this thing, and then
you wear Ankara to the chemo place, and you're looking up.
You know what I mean? So you actually look forward, like the whole year, you just commit yourself to treatment. And now all of a sudden you finish treatment, and now what, you know? So most people tend to get depressed because there's not that structure and things to look forward to. But for me, and you know, we go to the same church, everybody takes treatment or what should I say? Everybody handles it differently. For me, I took it internally, like I just extended it to my family and very close friends. Because when you get the diagnosis, before you get a prognosis, you're concerned, is there a treatment for this? What's gonna happen and all that? So I kept it really quiet until I have a plan outlined for me. You know, do surgery, chemo, radiation, tamoxifen. And when I was sure that there is a plan, then I extended it a little bit to other close people, like at work and stuff. Because I had a lot of support from my job. People would take time off to sit with me during chemo. But in the community, I kept it really quiet because I'm a very sensitive person. And some people mean good. They'll want to call you, oh, have this sad things like, oh my God, like it's the end of the world. But for me, I needed to stay positive. I didn't want any of that. I wanted to just stay positive and stay focused on the journey. So I kept it really quiet until, I completed everything before most people knew that I was even going through breast cancer. I was still going to church. I was still working sometimes in between treatments. But family means everything to me. My mom, my brother, my daughter. So now relationships, I value the little things, like a lot of things don't matter, like material things don't matter. I'm just happy to be alive and I'm happy to be healthy. So my circle is really small. It is really small. I mean,
it's
I
so
meet
funny you
people.
said something about keeping it quiet in the community.
Yeah.
So I'm a very vocal person. I mean, anyone
Yeah.
who knows me knows that I see something, I say, like I don't know how to keep it moving. I just have to drop something there.
Yeah.
And I had to stop talking to somebody that I was very close to because she came one day. Can you imagine? I had just finished treatment.
Mhm.
And then she comes and she shows me a picture of somebody and she says, this person had breast cancer. The cancer came back and now she's dead.
Oh, wow. With a picture.
Yeah.
Literally,
Wow.
that's what she told me. And so I had to cut her off
Yeah.
immediately. Like, okay, you, no.
Here behind me, Satan.
Yes.
I'm like, where is this even coming from? Yes, we know that recurrence does happen, but for you to just come at me directly and say that, I mean, obviously you're not a friend. I don't think you mean well.
Yeah.
Or even if it's coming from a place, I didn't want to understand where it was
It's just not the right time.
It's
You
not
can't
the
make
right
such
time.
comments.
You
No.
don't say that.
So for me, I just didn't say it out there because some people have good intentions, some people you don't know. So I just kept it quiet until I can fight the battle, and I'm happy to share the good news. That's the way I handled it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, I had to. There were, and I'm very grateful. Because so you see, for me, I had business relationships. I was diagnosed the same day that the occupancy permit for Tambo's Kitchen was given to me. And from there, I knew those who stood with me or not. I mean, they're like family right now. Clients who were like, Tony, it's okay. You're sick, you're not sick. The food is not sweet today. We are still with you because we know you're going through. And it's almost like God gave them an understanding that this girl just sunk $75,000 into a business. And so if they can come to the kitchen and cook, the least they can do is tell me to fry pop-off and do, like, okay, what can you do? They were there. There were people who fell by the wayside. There were people who were, okay, we'll wait till you get better. And I'm just grateful that now things are better. But you know what? The people that stood with me at the get-go, they can't come to me now for an order and I wouldn't just, give them extra perks and all that because they kept me in business. And some of them are still coming. They continue to come. I still saw a couple of them yesterday come. And I was just like, good God, thank you for these people who still stood. When some of my cooks were not behaving, they're still here, So it really opens your eyes to see who is really for you despite what it is you're going through, and who are just there to just tap into what you have to offer and collect and go, and being able to decipher who they are and just put everybody in their place is a big gift and a blessing for anybody to have. So I'm gonna go into work. So active treatment, did you work full-time during active treatment? And now that you're done, are you still doing active? Are you working full-time or part-time? Or, are you doing your own thing? Because I would like to know, because we all do this, we all do things differently. So what are you doing right now, Ngozi?
Okay, so during treatment, I wasn't working, but that was when I started sharing my story online. And that was how What Cancer Nigeria really started, to be honest with you. I was a bit worried about not working. You know, people make this statement, you know, at times when people don't really know how you are feeling and you say you are tired or you need to rest because they are working, you hear statements like you are enjoying. Oh, Nigerians can talk, sha. So you hear things like you are enjoying. Oh. So you won't know whether to be guilty or not that, you must, in Lagos, you must enter traffic, abuse some bus drivers so that it shows that you went to work that day. If not, so, I mean, I wasn't working during treatment, but then What Cancer Nigeria started. Then I started the foundation. Then I started to juice as well. So all those things kind of, but I like the fact that I have my own time. And I don't apologize for the fact that when I am tired, I rest. And I'm not ashamed to say it. So at times, let me just say it now, there's no shame. There are some days I just do Netflix for the whole day. Korean fanatic. I do Netflix for the whole day at times. At times I listen to music. But I've just learned to rest. They say problem no they finish. I've learned to rest, please. I beg. I can't, you have to rest to be looking fine. If I'm always looking harassed, I'll be looking fine. And you know me, I like to take pictures. So I mean, balance is key.
Yeah, definitely. How about you, Mariama?
Well, during treatment, I did not work. So I had surgery and was doing implants. And during the process, I had some complications. So I finished chemo and they said, oh, you got to rest for a minute for like a month or two before we can do surgery again after chemo. So during that time, I had to go to work for like 30 days because my insurance will kick in again to be out and get paid. So I worked for 30 days in between treatments and then went back out. So I was out for almost 8 months until I finished everything. But then I went to work and, when you're doing reconstruction, that is like, intermittent surgeries. So I'll work, and if I have a surgery or procedure, I'll take like 2 weeks off or a month off to recover and then go back to work. But since I finished everything, I'm back at work full time. And like I said, I went back to school full time, got my master's after treatment. And, I'm just thriving at work and, so I'm doing good now. Yeah.
Congratulations. How about you, Julie?
So when I started treatment, I stopped working and I started working. I was off from work from September of 2019 to 2021 because my doctor just said you can't walk. And after chemo, I had surgery and it took me almost 6 months. I think I spoke to you about it. It took me 6 months to be okay because I did they took my stomach to reconstruct my breast. So it took me 6 months to get better. And then in 2021, my insurance was going to end. So one of my insurance was going to, because I had 3 insurance. So I didn't want it to end. It ended anyway because I had to go back to work. They just told me that either I go on unemployment insurance or I go back to work. So I went to work for, I think, twice a week and 2 hours. And then I go back to work fully in May, and I couldn't work because I work in the call center, in the banking call center. Emotionally, I wasn't ready because you get clients that'll call you and you're trying to explain to them why their banking or their investment or something is like this, and they go all out. And I started crying at work. I would just cry. Like I would just start crying, and then it became too difficult for me, so I resigned. And then I got another job, and I got another job that is not people facing. And you don't call me, I call you if I want to ask you for something. So if you're rude to me, I can just disconnect the phone. So yeah, it was it was a bit it was emotionally draining when I went back to the call center. I was literally crying after work. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm so scared to go put on my computer because I was not emotionally.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I am really happy I didn't have to work during treatment, to be honest with you. I don't think I would have been able to. If I was working in the banking, they would have driven me. Because they would have driven me. Because you have been unreasonable. I'll ask you how far. So,
it's so interesting. So, now looking back, but I'm in a better place mentally now. So remember I said breast cancer came alongside with starting my passion. So for me, it was like, Vala Mogulis, what do we say to the god of cancer? Not today. So I worked and I did not work. So what do I mean by that? I understood that I needed to get better. And so I was blessed to just have people that could hold the fort while I went through active treatment. And what that meant was I had to give up. So whatever errors, I could not complain, whatever mistakes, so I just let it go. A lot of things I let slide because it's like, look, it's the person that is alive that can do business. So why are we stressing ourselves? So that was kind of how I did it. So once in a while I'll go there, it was my happy place. My baby's still alive, even though I'm sick, I'm still going through active treatment. It's good to, hey. So thank God that I did not have to depend on my own insurance. My husband's insurance at the time was actually a Cadillac insurance. I don't know. In America, there are different grades, and depending on the kind of insurance you have, that is what they will, it's a function of what treatment you get. So his employer at the time gave all his employees very good insurance. And then I padded it with Mass Health and made it Bentley insurance. So anything I needed, it was as though, Dr. Patrick, they were just like, oh, there's this study. Do you want to do it? Oh, there's this treatment. Oh, blah, 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 and this. So they were just offering me to the point that I was like, please, can you all just consider my quality of life while throwing all these things at me, like, what's the repercussions of all this? And so, working in and out, and just growing the business. Now I'm at a better place health-wise, 5 years, no evidence of disease. My last MRI was clean and clear. And so I can sit back. But not just that too, it taught me to trust, because to be honest with you, I don't think I trusted. I was afraid. At a cell group that actually my husband was the leader of, we were watching this Dave Ramsey video on financial independence. And then Dave Ramsey now gets on the stage and says, the quick way to bankruptcy is cancer. So imagine when my doctor now comes and tells me that you have been diagnosed with cancer. The first thing that came out of my head was Mr. Ramsey saying, the quickest way to bankruptcy. So my fear of bankruptcy kept me going, kept me like, no, we cannot be bankrupt. I cannot, no. Even to the point that some active treatment, I was like, honey, you know what? Let me be going. You have tried. Make sure we can still have this Bentley insurance. Keep walking. It was just the fear that what's going to happen? Are we going to sell our house? Are we going to be on the streets? I lived with it. I haven't said it to anybody. I'm saying it now for the first time for everybody to hear, because it's real. Like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Am I going to lose everything? I even heard people asking my employees, you guys have not closed the restaurant. She's still sick. Isn't she sick? So when such comments start to come and they become strongholds, you're just like, oh, no. Rather than float, I'm just like, no, sink or swim. We must swim. And then there are times when I can't swim anymore. And I'm just like in a very depressive state because I'm tired. I didn't give myself room to heal. That is not happening anymore. So now, it's going to make us segue to the next thing, self-care. For me, I prioritize self-care. I don't joke with my retreats. If I have to travel at least once every 3 months, I'm out of this house. It can be a hotel in a story building in Boston. It can be seeing a friend, like family. Like I prioritize just getting away, removing myself from everything, not think about anything, because guess what, Tony? You could have been dead 5 years ago, but you're alive because God allowed it. So how do you prioritize self-care? What are you doing for self-care these days? Mariama?
Well, one thing I decided to do was travel outside of the country every year with my family. And we've been doing that since I finished treatment. I know sometimes it's hard with work and everything, but also love on my children because they could have lost me, or I had a daughter by then. So it makes me value the time that I spend with family. And also, I don't sweat the little things, as long as it just makes you humble. As long as you have roof over your head, you have food, you have clothing. For me, that's all that matters. Spending time with my kids and taking time apart from myself, maybe getting my nails done, my hair done, and all that. It just, makes you feel good about yourself. So for me, it's the little things, it's the little things.
So thank you so much, all our attendees. Before I move on to Ngozi, if you have any questions, this is the time for you to put your questions in the Q&A sections, and we will be reading them and answering them as they come in. So, Ajala travel, Ngo, I know you love to travel too. What else do you do for self-care?
Okay, so how will I put it now? When I started What Cancer Nigeria and the support group, having a lot of breasties felt like a community. So it was fun gisting and everything with different women. But they started to suck a lot out of me. And then COVID happened. Too many deaths were happening at that time. I think that was the period where I kind of cracked and I shut the support group down, but I started to realize that I hadn't made a mental note to focus on my mental health. I don't know if that makes sense. So a lot of times when we talk about self-care, we think it's spas and all that, but the mental aspects, we don't really dwell on that. So even the kind of vibes around you, to realize that negative energy has a way of, affecting your mood if you allow it to. So I'm more conscious about that now. And so if I'm with anyone that is, I know that people are allowed to have their own emotions. So you're allowed to feel sad, you're allowed to feel scared. But I always look at it as a case of light versus darkness. So if I'm trying to pull you out of that mood and you're trying to drag me into your, I'm sorry, I hope this doesn't sound insensitive, but I always feel happy is supposed to drag sad out. But if sad is trying to drag happy in, and I get to a space where, I'm not Jesus Christ and I cannot save you, I walk away. That's the honest truth. Because I don't want to spend, there were times I would spend endless nights worrying about someone. That actually used to happen to me when we had the support group. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So right now, my happy place is traveling. Please, let me keep repeating it. So yes, I like traveling, listening to music, spending time. I like gisting with my daughter. When you have grown-up kids, they start to sound very, my 18-year-old now, I've been ranting to her on a few occasions, and the words of wisdom she's kind of like my go-to now. It's not like I load dumb stuff on her, but I think I'm at a place where I know who to go to when I just need to unwind, and then traveling.
Tony, can I just add to what our sister, I think sister says here?
Yeah.
I think she put a good point across about the mental health.
Yes.
You know, thinking about that is like after going through this, I have like limited tolerance for anything that's negative.
Negative.
So almost to the point where I have no patience because I'm
Mm.
like, I don't need that, you know, like
Mm-mm.
so people, you know, would think maybe you don't have patience, you don't have, but after what you've been through, all you want is
Staring
peace.
death in the eye. Tell me
Yes.
about
Or
it.
they'll
Yes.
say you don't have empathy, or they
Yeah,
don't understand
no.
why you are happy.
Yes, because you know, it just takes that negativity, it just takes the stress, it just takes, then you start worrying about reoccurrence and all that. For me, anything that does not bring me peace, I'll say bye-bye to you
Bye
because
to it.
I
Yeah.
feel like God gave us a second chance to
Yeah.
live, you know, happily. So, I mean, that's one thing because you got to put your mental health as a priority. Don't let somebody
Yes.
take that from you, you know,
Yeah.
because you are your own person before you extend out to other relationships. So you got to look out for yourself. If you're not in a good place, you can't give that positivity to someone else. So
Mm.
that's where self-care, you put yourself first, make sure you're mentally okay to even have relationships with other people. Because if not, it's just for a disaster. So that's a good point with mental health. It is a real thing that we go through. And what we take out of the treatment says a lot about, you know, our relationships and us going forward. So that's a good point. The mental health is a priority.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Julie, over to you. How are you prioritizing self-care?
So I've always been like a type A, I don't know, OCD. I like like I like things to be organized, but since cancer, I don't care. Like I can just walk into the house and my son's toys are everywhere, and I will not sit down until I put it away. I have to put everything in place. But now I can wake up on Saturday and it's 2 o'clock and watching Netflix because I'm tired.
Mm.
I told my husband, I said, this year we have to do something different.
Mm.
I don't want anybody to come to my house to visit me. No, no, no. I'm going for my birthdays, I'm going for holidays now. Yes. I don't want you to come and become boring to me. I have to clean after you when you go. No. I go for every special occasion now. Home is we're supposed to make memories outside the house.
Yeah.
We go outside. Nobody comes. People, when I say, they get offended, like I'm like, don't come and visit me. No, because I am that person. I'm that host that want to make you happy, and then you come and you give me stress before you go, and then I'm taking all the stress and the energy, and I'm frustrated and I'm unhappy. So now I'm trying to make myself happy. I plan trips. I'm planning to come to Orlando, Florida very soon. I booked a vacation for May or June. I'm trying to go to Vancouver in September. That's it. Like, and then I'm just dropping friends. Like, if we're having a conversation and you say, like, you're not the only one. That's what some people say. You're not the only one now. People have done it. I'm like, oh, okay, bye-bye. And that's it. I don't call you back because I want to be happy. If you're rude to me and I don't like the way you're speaking, most times I always just let it slide because that's who I am. But now I just say it the way I'm feeling it. Please go. If you can't be my friend, if you cannot see that, even though I'm not living in that situation, it's still me. That's part of me. Like sometimes I cry because even though it's not bad, but when I look at myself in the mirror, like I'm facing myself in the mirror, this is not me. There's so much knives that have gone through my body, and I'm learning to love the new me. And then somebody will say, you're not even grateful. You don't know why I am feeling that way.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same thing. It's
Julie, I'm so glad. It's like you just took the next question out of my mouth. How are you loving the new you? Because so I'm gonna be honest with you. You can see, like, I blink now. That's what I do. Like, I am a Swarovski fanatic. Big up to my daddy. I think he was in a few minutes ago. My dad gave me my first Swarovski, and I have not looked back. Like, if Swarovski had stocks in the US, I will buy them up. I blink because I have been through so much knives, so much trauma not to blink. Like for me, that is like mine. And it's so funny. The founding, you know, the first lady of the founder of TBN, Mrs. Crouch, the first time I saw that lady, her eyelashes were like longer than Lady Gaga's. She had pink, green, everything all over. And the Christian, you know, the Christianist in me was like,
is this a word again?
You know, church is not the kingdom now. And then I now heard that she had 3 different kinds of cancers that the Lord healed her and delivered her from. So that woman was living life with everything, hair, eyes, everything. Like she was like, hey, we died there. And she even died after Baba died. She was, I mean, who would think? Daddy Crouch died before she died, before she went on to be with the Lord. So for me, it's like, I wake up every morning and I'm like, girl, you beautiful girl. Please, I take care of my face. I mean, it's like, nobody's going to prevent me from shining today. No. And if anybody has a problem with it, speak to the sparkle. Speak. Speak to the sparkle. I'm like, you're not there when my prosthesis is shifting and my, like, I mean, as I'm talking to you now, this is the 5th year of radiation, and my plastic surgeon has told me, Tony, you're going to have pains. The radiation is going to make your back worse. So already, because the muscle, I don't know, I've forgotten what the biology, but the breast muscle has been shifted for the prosthesis to come in. I still have the other breast. There is no symmetry. There is tension going on. My body is like, Tony, what is going on here? This is not how God made it. I wake up in pain. I have a lidocaine patch in my back right now from spasms, you know. It is what it is. And so when the blink has to help me feel okay so that I am not on narcotics, you know. I have to find something to focus on. And so for me, it's the blinkage so that I can keep on moving and keep on, you know, because the body image issues are real. I mean, your skin is dried out, your mouth is dried out, your face is dried out, and people are like, you did glow, really? Should I strip up the makeup, strip up the hair, strip up the bling? Do you really want to see what is underneath? So, but hey, what do? You just smile and you keep it moving, because it's like, may we never look like what we're going through. Amen. So, you know, Ngozi, how is it at your end?
You know, there was a time I used to feel guilty that I used to take a lot of pictures and post. I don't know why, but I almost felt like it wasn't about not being happy, but you know, when it started to feel like maybe people would think I was in their faces a lot. But one day I just stopped caring and told myself, anybody that does not like it can, I mean, my pastor would say, can go and hug a transformer. And so, I mean, because of that now, this year, I've invested more in skincare. I mean, before, it's the normal, it's not Vaseline, no, but you know, I wasn't particular about what I used to use. But you know, someone started a new skincare line. I thought it was a bit pricey, but I just said, see, I don't know how to put it. I just said, see, Sha. So I started buying the products, and I mean, I have no regrets. So for me, I'm taking better care of my skin. I'm not particular about makeup per se, but I do like fashion. Yes, please, anybody that needs a model for anything, please, I want to strike that off my bucket list. Chasey, I'm using style to be telling people what I want. So traveling, and then I would like to model. So I'd like to strike that off my bucket list. So basically, yeah, I don't have body image issues as per having one breast, to be honest with you. I mean, even before cancer, my husband used to call me nudist. So to be very honest with you, I don't have, maybe my own issues are, maybe when I see a dress and they didn't make it for bigger size, you know, maybe at times say a size 4 dress and you are a 12 or a 14. But besides that, to be honest, I don't have body image issues. And I always tell myself, there are so many parts of your body you can flaunt. I can be sad and your smile will just remove all my problems for that minute. So that's how I look at it now. Focus on, we all know that body part that you flaunt. That's what I feel everybody knows. So having a good smile is not small. That's what we don't understand. You can actually smile and brighten someone's day. So that body part that works for you, use it with your full chest and don't care what anybody says. So that's it. So that's it for me.
How about you, Mariama?
Well, talking about body image, so I had bilateral mastectomy and implants. So my fear was, you were born with your breast, right? And now you have to get rid of them. So I was thinking it would have been tough for me to go through the process. But before breast cancer, I was a small person. Like my chest was small. I was like, 32A or whatnot. So instead, I used this as an opportunity to kind of give myself what I never had. So I just changed the whole thing into a positive experience. I get to choose the size. Now I can go, wear your swimsuit without, everything, it's prepped up. It's not like, flimsy and all that stuff. So, but I embrace my scars, like I'll be in the bathroom, don't have anything on in the mirror and I feel good. Just because I changed my mindset about what I lost, because I'm like, this thing could have killed me.
Yeah.
So I no longer have it. I have to embrace what is replacing that. So being a smaller chest person to having these implants, I think that helped me embrace myself, regardless of the scars and complications, multiple surgeries. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to be alive. So
Thank
Yeah.
you. How about you, Julie?
Yeah,
Self-care.
remember the last conversation we had before I had my surgery, and you said, think of it as you're going for a plastic surgery.
yep.
So I just had a kid and my tummy was still out. So I actually had a tummy talk in such a way, like a
A tummy talk and a boob job.
Yes, I
That's
know you
right.
said something about it.
and I also had because I was full chested, so I had a breast reduction on the other side. So now I'm like a D, which is what I've always wanted.
Mhm.
Because I always thought after kids I was going to go for that, but now it was all paid for.
Yeah.
And I can now wear a dress. I don't think about it and don't
Yeah.
feel ashamed. The only thing that happened to me once was before my reconstruction, I had a smaller breast so if I wear a dress, you could just see the line. And I was in the park, and then these kids, just teenagers though, they just started they just started making comments and pointing at me, and then they all started laughing. And I said to them, you don't know my story, so you can just laugh. And we're all sitting down in the party. So I told my husband, let's go. So at that time I felt awkward, but now that it's leveled up, I don't wear bra anymore because it doesn't need one.
Hey.
Were they able to save your nipples? Were they able to? Do you have nipples?
No.
Yeah, for one of them I do, for the other one I don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
I couldn't save it. So my surgeon said I can come back for a nipple tattoo. However,
Yes.
I will be going back to level up. So because what I do now is I use pads to even up. It's still a bit, so I have to get to 180 pounds in order for me to do it, because she says she wants my BMI to go down. That way recovery will be quicker, and then she can perk up the other side, put a nipple tattoo on the other side, and then yay, my first swimsuit. 2.0 edition. So I'm just
Julie,
taking
so
my
you're one
time.
of those that oppressor without bra.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm as a teenager, I always, when my friends were not wearing a bra, I was wearing one. And in my 30s now, I don't have to. So they now wear bras. I don't. Like I can stay home all day, no bra.
Hey, pepper them. Pepper them.
That's the benefit of where I am. I look at it as the benefit of what I've gone through. And
yeah.
It's funny because 3-4 years ago, I was still having body issues because of my weight and the boobs. Now, I don't care. Because if I had died like 2019, I'm sure somebody will be living in this house, married to my husband and taking care of my kids. So now I'm just embracing life like
with reckless abandon.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to read some of the Q&A quickly. So, somebody said, thanks for the opportunities. I want to ask questions, though I haven't been diagnosed, but since I realized I have lumps, I have created awareness of breast cancer. If diagnosed, what is the next step to take? Anonymous attendee, the first step you need to take is go to your doctor. Go to your doctor and listen to your doctor for the next line of action. The good thing, I don't know where you're located, but if you're located in Nigeria, I will recommend Ngozi to you as a navigator because she is doing great work in that area. Judah Foundation is a sister foundation to Tampa Foundation. So, and then somebody, so I have a nurse here, so I will ask.
Can I add to that, Tony?
Sure, yeah.
So before I got diagnosed, I had multiple lumps that was removed. I have lumpectomy on both breasts, left and right. So that is something you need to pay attention to. If you're having lumps, you got to pay close attention to your breast and make sure when you feel it, have routine checkups and make sure to rule out every time you have a lump, make sure to rule out it's not cancer. Because those are pre-indication of, whether you have breast cancer or not. So
yeah, because I too had a lump removed when I was a teenager, on my right breast though, but I got the cancer on the left.
Yes.
So it's actually something to check.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, same thing happened to me too. I removed a lump from my right breast at 19. But I had breast cancer on the same breast, although a doctor said that was a coincidence. But yes, I removed a lump at 19 and had breast cancer on the same breast at 39.
It's so funny. So yes, I remember I was very young.
Checking.
I was very young. I think I was even, I don't know, was I 12? I was very young. And my mother did a self-breast exam and she felt a lump. And she gave me some very strong antibiotics. That's what she did. And I still remember, I had that conversation with her. She's like, I don't remember. And it was the same breast, actually. It was my right breast. So she gave me antibiotics, it shrunk. We kept it moving, like nothing happened. And then years later, breast cancer on that breast. So I wonder if it's a coincidence as well. A question here, does immobile lumps automatically mean cancer? Mariama, could you answer that for us?
You know what? I'm not an oncologist specialist, but the characteristics of breast cancer are firm, they're hard. Sometimes they're indented in the skin. So if you can move a lump, that might be a good sign, not necessarily cancer, but the cancer lumps are more stable, they're more stable, they're hard, they're firm. Or if it's in our, later stage, you might have like drainage from it and stuff like that. So I think there's a better chance if they're mobile, if the lump is, you can move it around, but still see your doctor, because I'm not a doctor. It's just from reading and my own experience.
Thank you. And from Iyaba Umar Lawal, thank you all. And it's lovely hearing your stories. I had a single mastectomy in 2021 and recently started having aches and strains around the reconstructed breast. I had an implant. My question is for the ladies who did a mastectomy. What sort of feelings did you have around the breast area? any aches, pains, or strains. Thanks. So, Sister Yabo, welcome to the Pink Sister group. It's not the right, I mean, unfortunately, this is not how we want to welcome ourselves, but here we are. Cancer did something to us, but we are grateful that we are alive. So I guess the question that I will ask is, you had an implant in that area. From my experience, so I had a single implant. For the first 2 years, I was with what's it called again? Like the space holder, not the implant itself.
Expanders.
Yeah, so I was on expanders for like a year and change. And it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. And what I will say to you, or what was recommended for me, was that you have to massage that area. You have to. And if you had radiation like I did, radiated skin stiffens, it gets stiffer, it hurts, and you probably do not have symmetry. So, you know, like muscular symmetry in your chest area, like myself. So there will be a level, like on a scale of 1 to 10, I live with a pain of 2.5 from the from the implant. It is what it is. And I also have to make sure that I don't lift heavy things with the place where I had the mastectomy and reconstruction. So yes, little pains, little aches. And remember, I want you to give yourself grace. You had your mastectomy May 2021. This is what, April 2022. So you're still young.
Yeah.
You're still very, 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 like, don't stress yourself, massage it, go see a physical therapist. I had to go see a physical therapist because I was not having range of motion with this hand. So they give me exercises that I have to do religiously every day. So this is for somebody who had a singular mastectomy and reconstruction. Mariama, you had a bilateral, so I don't know if you have any advice.
So the difference is I had a bilateral and I had expanders in both of them. But because the right breast that had the cancer, they had to take some lymph nodes out. So when I had the expanders in, it was really restricted. Like I can't lift my arm up, or it's so much pain on that side. I did physical therapy like you did, Tony, but it was just so painful, you know. But what I noticed though, when they did the exchange, they took the expanders out and put their implants, it was instant relief. So I don't know if it was the surgery or maybe the implant is not as soft. No, the expanders are not as soft. They're very rigid. It's like a bag of saline. So when that was taken out and the implants were put in, I had instant relief. So I don't get pain on that side anymore, and I can lift my arm and do whatever. But it was really intense, the pain I was having. And physical therapy didn't help because it was not with the arm, it was with the expander that was in, the way it was placed. But still there's less sensation on that side because of the manipulation with the lymph nodes. Sometimes you're itchy, you want to scratch, you can't feel inside. It's like the worst thing, because like you want to like put something in there to just scratch, but there's no way.
I start hitting that spot.
Yes, you would just keep hitting it, tapping it and all that. But you know, those are the things, the little things we live with, you know. We lost sensation with that. So, but the pain is gone. So I'm not sure where she is, whether she has the implants in or she still has expanders.
Expanders, yeah.
Okay, for me, once I get the implants placed in, I felt relief from the pain. Yeah.
Yeah. For me though, it's, you know, it's not so much the implant now. It's just the quadrants where the radiation, like it just, it hurts. And so sometimes I sit funny, but like now when I'm done, I have to do extra stretches just to kind of loosen it up. I have an appointment with a massage therapist once every month. Again, grateful to my lovely husband. He got a massage chair. I think I use it more than he does. So I just sit there and just to help loosen, because my body gets stiff from the letrozole, from the hormone therapy, and then the radiated skin is getting tighter as the years go by. So we look for ways to manage it. You know, we manage the pain, we manage the side effects, we manage the symptoms and the fallout, for lack of a better word. from active breast cancer treatment. And we live to tell the story because we do not want other sisters to die a needless death. That's why we make room to advocate. So, in closing, I just want to leave the floor, starting with Mariama, then Julia, then Ngozi. What would you say? I mean, I want you to encourage a breastie out there, or somebody who's just been newly diagnosed. What would you say to her?
Well, I want to say there's hope. For your cancer to be treated, for you to be alive is for you to get diagnosed in time. So do your breast self-exam. Check yourself out. Like, your body, you will notice changes, which is what I noticed, because even though my doctor was like, oh no, I didn't feel anything, but I know my nipples were indented and I can't pull it out. So that was an indication that something is different about, my body. And also, I look forward to meeting like Pink Sisters, because in my line of work, I'll see people that come in admitted, being treated for breast cancer. And I take myself away from being a nurse and just being a Pink Sister at the bedside. And I've had few relationships with people. They'll call me my angel, because sometimes they're just down, don't know the end of this. But what I did not have is that personal person that has gone through it to tell me what to expect. And it was hard. All you do was research, look things up. But just sitting down, there's one Pink Sister that I get to know. She's from Ghana. She always checks on me, calls me an angel. She was really having a rough day. She feels like the doctors are not advocating for her and all that. But I took time from my work and sat with her and explained everything, that the feelings are normal. You go through this because I went through it, but it can be done and all that. And, I was just there to help her out. So just be hopeful, advocate for yourself, educate yourself, do your exams, do your mammogram. Don't overlook anything. If you feel something is different, have it checked out. Yeah.
Julie.
What I would say is breast cancer is real, but there's life in it and there's life after it. Because as Christians, we believe that such things will never happen. So when I post on my status, have you done your breast check for this month? People get offended, saying, you're a Christian, why are you posting that? So I would say put religion aside whenever you're taking care of yourself. I'm not saying put God aside. I said put religion aside.
Religion, yeah.
Yes. Know that good and bad is in the world. God presents those to you. So the truth is you may not see it coming. And if you have the diagnosis, go to the doctor. It's not a life sentence. It's just a pause.
And can I just say here that pastors have cancer, evangelists and prophets have cancer. I just want to put it out there because we deal with a lot of ethno-religious biases.
Yes.
And there is a scripture in the Bible that when I get to heaven, I will ask the Lord to interpret. It's in the book of 2 Kings. Elisha had a double portion of Elijah, but that scripture says that Elisha got sick and died of that sickness. I'll look for it. You keep talking. Let me look for it. Google will bring it up for me now. So go ahead. I'm glad you mentioned that.
So I'm going to say it's not a death sentence. It's if you don't take care of it, that it becomes, and it gets worse. That's when it becomes a death sentence. It's treatable. I've met so many people who have lived from it than died from it. I don't know if people I've met, they've lived from it. The people I've met that have died from it, so I can count them. So it's not a death sentence. I believe that whatever comes your way, it's what you're supposed to go through at that point in time. Check your breast, check your body, and take your health like it's your health is the most important thing. Everything you feel, if you have a headache that's getting too much, you take Panadol. That's the same thing. If you have breast cancer, you take medication for it. Just see it that way, and then you'll be able to live every day like it's nothing. And then just try and get help. It's not easy to get help, but try and surround yourself with people that can help you, especially if you're not in a relationship, like married. If you're single, try and get help. There are many organizations around. I don't know about Nigeria, but here in Canada, I'm sure in America, there are many organizations that helps with transportation, food, clothing, household chores, and stuff like that. That you can harness their benefits to help you go through this process, because it's very financially draining.
Training, it is.
Yeah, so you need all the little bits and pieces. Like you told me, yeah, because I told you I didn't want the food bank, and you said no, Juliet. Any way
I
you
got
can
money.
yeah. So,
I took every help I could get.
yeah.
That was the first that I tell people. My very first toolkit, my very first adversity toolkit is: I will not be afraid nor ashamed to seek and ask and receive help. Like that is my mantra. If a baby is, if my help is in the hands of a baby, I will collect it. That's just who I am, and that's how, that's one of our survival. That's how I continue to live after
That's how
active
you
treatment.
can survive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my survivals. So, Ngozi, any parting words for a current breastie that might watch this, or a breastie who is at the end of the tunnel of active treatment?
Okay, so let me speak from the fact that I live in Nigeria. I live in an African country where the healthcare system is a bit funny. In terms of help, the focus is always on treatment and surgery. So areas like helping with transportation, helping with food, helping with household chores, helping with the kids, we still need to work on those areas. I don't know anyone that is really doing it actively. Everybody is doing screening and surgery. So please, that's food for thought for anyone listening and for anyone that would like to partner. Then another thing, healing patterns. No two people will be sorted out the same way. So please remember that. We share our stories to encourage people, not so that you ask the doctor, oh, Tony had a mastectomy, why are you making me have one? So please, healing patterns matter. Then knowledge is power. Misinformation kills. So please be careful of where you're getting your information from. So who and where matter. Be encouraged. Perspective also matters. So on the days when you have the strength, seize the opportunity. Go out with friends, watch a movie, have a spa day. It's not possible to be sad 24/7. And don't ever feel guilty for having fun when you are in treatment. Because people will look at you and tell you you don't feel sick. So you don't look sick. So you automatically feel that you have to look sick for them to help you. Take advantage of every moment. So when you are strong, go skydiving if you want to. When you are not, rest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like some more questions came through. Somebody said, why do Nigerian doctors act with negligence when patients discuss breast lump and calling them cyst when you're so sure something is wrong? I'm not here I will not diss doctors, because I've always wanted to be a doctor. And I'm in the healthcare profession as well. And at the end of the day, it's not just in Nigeria. Even here in the United States, doctors are overworked. And so all I will say is that it is important for you as an individual, advocate for yourself. It took me 6 months, in fact, 8 months. I had to fire my original PCP, that is my family doctor of 16 years, when he would not take me serious. When people see you, you're young, cancer is the last thing on their mind. Yeah. And, rightfully, wrongfully so, because many years ago, cancer was the disease of the old. Now it is the disease of even fetuses. Babies are having cancers, teenagers are having cancers, young adults are having cancers. Old people are having cancers. And so if it looks as if your doctor is dismissive, you are not tied by covenant to your doctor. Jump ship for another one.
Yeah.
End of story. I left my OPCP, I went to the new one, and before he even introduced himself, hi there, I looked at him, I said, sir, I just fired my 16-year doctor. If you don't listen to me, I will fire you too. And he just laughed. So I don't know if that set him straight. So everything I spoke to him about, he listened intently. That is being active in your care. I know that we have, we need a cultural and paradigm shift in the way healthcare is done in the continent, because we've ceded power to doctors, and it's almost like whatever they say is law. But there's also a place for personal responsibility and advocacy. There is a place for you to say, doctor, I am not feeling fine. We need to look at this. I mean, it doesn't mean you come with all the Google sheets, but just, respectfully, honorably, please, I need you to look at this again. And if they're not listening, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go to another doctor.
Because when I felt my lump and I went to my doctor, he was about to dismiss it, like, oh, I didn't feel anything. But I insisted. I said, there's something there, so you got to know your body and advocate for yourself. And if I had just dismissed it like he did, who might have been talking about something different at this point. But
Mariama, it's so funny you said that. Mine, I did a breast exam with this OBGYN 6 months before.
Yeah.
And she said I was okay. When I went back and told her I felt something, she was going to do a quick one again. And I said, no, I want you to use the tip of your finger and go softly around my areola, my nipple. Just go softly. And then when she listened to me and she felt it, she said, I'm going to give you a referral to the breast clinic.
Yeah.
And, we are where we are now, and the rest is history. And thank God, thank God for healing. Yeah. Grateful to be alive, to be an advocate, to just let other people know that, listen, your body, your health is your primary responsibility.
Yeah.
And the doctors are there to help you. Julie, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that your doctor is not the final say to your health, your anything. Like I will give an example. My son, one time I took him to the hospital and he had cold and cough. And they told me it was just cold and I should take him home and give him water to drink. And I said to him, no, I'm not leaving here because I know this child. And he said no. And I stayed there for an hour. And then we did his x-ray and he had pneumonia. And so I realized that if you don't speak up for yourself, every doctor is they want to make their money and go. I'm sorry, it's not like I'm saying that they don't care, but they also have a time. They need to see as much patient as they can in a day. So if they can do 5 minutes with you and they're done, that's it. So most times I do, and then I would say checkup, annual checkup, try and do that. Because when I was in Nigeria, I've always walked, so I had health paid for me. But I used to go for checkup every year, once a year. They will do full body checkup, everything. Do that. Check yourself every month, but also go for checkup because sometimes somebody else can just find that thing. So you are the one going there saying, put me in this place, check me, and I need you to be thorough with me.
Wow. Oh, my heart is full. So at the foundation this month, we were all about breast cancer, diagnosis, treatment, checkup, and we are sort of ending the month with this fireside, Tales by Moonlight, under the Iroko tree kind of chats. And I hope that you have all learned a thing or two. And so when you see not just necessarily a breast cancer survivor, but any type of cancer survivor, I hope that you would, pat them on the back and just appreciate them and salute them for living. Because the truth is, in the midst of the symptoms and the side effects, we have chosen to live. We have chosen to thrive. We have chosen to continue to live our lives. And I want to once again thank Mariama, Ngozi, and Juliet. I cannot thank you enough. This recording will be available on Facebook. It will be on our YouTube channel for people to watch again from the beginning if you missed it, and to also share. It's not just for you. I want us to share. You will be helping somebody. You might be you. In fact, it's not you might. You will be helping somebody, because knowledge is power, and knowledge shared will break strongholds and help the next person, on their life journey. Thank you once again for tuning in. We have come to the end of our third Lifting the Veil series, Life After Active Breast Cancer Treatment. We are a non-profit organization accredited by the IRS, and so your donations are tax deductible. If you would like to reach out to me about giving opportunities, I am available, t.adewumi@tambo-foundation.org, or you can send us a message on our social media platforms to discuss more. We actively work with, because we cannot be everywhere, and also to bring down the stronghold of cancer in the African community, we need a total approach. Advocates, which we all are. So this here is a meeting of advocates. We need the government. We need the money bags. We need science. We need institutions. And so for us, we are doing our part to ensure that the next person has a higher rate of survival once armed with the right information. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the month. And thank you, sisters. Thank you, Pink Sisters. I'm very grateful.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I'll be reaching out later.
Bye.
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 It was really fun.